Who are you and what are you doing in my house? Deep down, Mima knew this would happen. However, up until that very moment, she still didn't have the right answer. She swallowed hard and cleared her throat. It's me, Mima. Surprise! She gave him a wide, fake smile that wobbled slightly and watched as his expression changed from shock to confusion to quiet anger. Do I know you? How did you get into my house? Josh was tightly holding on to his temper. That much was clear. Yes and no, Mima chewed her bottom lip nervously. In response, Josh folded his arms and pinned her in place with a fierce look on his handsome face. Jemima, Mima Grace, 23, and as naive as they come, had clearly not thought things through before embarking on this interesting but scary adventure. To better understand her predicament, let's dig into the backstory. Mima lived a pretty sheltered, unassuming life. The closest people in her life were her dad, her aunt Maggie, and nanny turned housekeeper Uma. She also had her one true friend, Lisa. Lisa had been the one to tell Mima it was a terrible idea to travel to meet someone she had practically been lying to for close to 5 months. At that point, Mima knew the lie had gone on for too long, but she didn't want to lose her friendship with Josh. So she decided to visit him and plead her case face to face. It might be easier for him to ignore and block her online, but being with him physically would give her some edge she had hoped. Presently, Josh waited for her to start talking. He knew he had made a huge mistake, but honestly, how was he to know? All he knew was that this young lady standing in his living room was not Maggie, the woman he had been chatting on and off with for about 3 years now. His online girlfriend was what his best buddy Paul called her. They got along so well, and their conversations were always fun. He had been asking her to come for a visit for over a year now, but she always had one excuse or the other. It was his fault, Josh thought sorely. He should have noticed something was off the moment she got excited about meeting after so many failed tries. Do not make me lose patience. I hope you have a good explanation for this. His tone was cold and unwelcoming. Mima let out a deep sigh. She looked down, seemed to gather some courage, then looked up again. My name is Jemima. Everyone calls me Mima. You know my aunt, Maggie. She watched as recognition made his eyes seem bigger. You're Maggie's niece? Yes, I am, she replied in a small voice. So where is your aunt? Mima shook her head. She's not here. Josh studied her. Why are you here if Maggie isn't with you? The room suddenly felt too stuffy and Mima broke out in cold sweat. She knew she couldn't stop the inevitable from happening. She had to tell him the truth and hoped he would understand. She dragged in a breath that didn't seem nearly enough. I am here because Maggie didn't want to come. I did. I have been the one messaging you these past few months. Josh felt as if the floor had been pulled from under his feet. What? He stammered. He felt hurt, his mind still on the fact that Maggie didn't want to meet him. So she sent you here to tell me she didn't want to meet? None of this made sense. She could have just told him so over the phone. Now he could see all the red flags he had ignored. 3 years had made him so comfortable that he had failed to pick up on what was glaringly clear. Lately, Maggie didn't want to speak on phone or send voice messages, and the way she had suddenly been keen on them meeting should have alerted him. He looked at Mima and wondered why she would lie to him. Why have you been lying to me? He asked. I have not been lying to you. Not like that. I have always known about you because Aunt Maggie talked about you a lot. That information did nothing to ease the hurt and anger he felt had been played. I became invested in your friendship and would always ask about you, and in a way, it felt like I knew you too. All Josh could think about was how they'd made him a joke. When she met someone, she decided she was going to stop communicating with you. I convinced her not to, that this could be just genuine friendship. And I told her I'd do the keeping in touch. So you felt sorry for me? Josh said quietly. He rubbed at his temple as a slight headache formed. No, not at all. I really enjoy our conversations. Why did you come, Mimah? To meet you and to explain. Thank you for telling me. I think you should leave. He saw the dismay on her face. I know you're angry. You have every right to be, she started, but he interrupted her. I mean it. You should go. I have a headache and I want to be left alone. Mimah nodded, then picked up her backpack before giving him one last look, as if she was trying to memorize his face. Goodbye, Josh. I had always wanted to meet you. I wish it had been under better circumstances. He moved aside and watched as she walked out the door. Then he slammed it shut. How could he have been so careless? He had left his key for a complete stranger to find and let herself into his house. All because he thought 3 years was enough to know a person well. Josh was angry, first at himself, then Mimah or whatever it was she called herself. If he was honest with himself, he would admit he was also angry at Maggie. He was sad and it hurt. He had always wanted them to meet. He had felt a deep connection and knew he was at risk of falling head over heels in love with her. But now it seemed he didn't even know the real her. He had been chatting with 2 different women. Deciding he needed a shower, Josh wished he could scrub off what had just happened and erase it from his memory. He was ignoring her. Mimah had tried calling, she had texted and sent chat messages, but every one of them had gone unanswered. At her wit's end, she wrote a long handwritten letter in which she acknowledged her mistake and asked for forgiveness. After that, she simply moved on with her life. She did admit to Lisa that she missed chatting with Josh, but there was nothing else she could do. 2 weeks after she had sent the letter to him, Josh called. At first, she was too stunned to pick her phone. She just sat there, staring as if the device had suddenly sprouted wings and was about to fly. When she finally picked the call, she could barely speak, and her hello came out as a nervous, soft whisper. Hello, Mimah. The slight pause before he called her name reminded her that he wasn't used to saying her name. Hello, Josh, she responded. I got your letter. He paused, then let out a sigh. I also got your other messages and missed calls. Mimah bit her lip, but she remained quiet. If your aunt thought I may not be who I claim to be, why did you insist on taking the risk to meet me? Mimah dragged in a deep breath and let it out slowly. I had a feeling you were exactly who you say you are. The world is a dangerous place filled with bad people, he cautioned her. Mimah felt herself smile. If you were a bad person, you wouldn't be warning me right now. I'm just saying, you should be more careful. Yes, sir, she chuckled. I'm still a little peeved because you deceived me for so long. But I want you to know that I forgive you. The moment he said the words, Josh felt all right, and he could almost swear he could feel her relief over the phone. Thank you, Josh. Thank you so much. Mimah felt ridiculously close to tears. You are welcome, was his candid reply. It took painstaking baby steps and close to a month to rekindle their friendship. They spent hours talking or texting each other, filling each other on their daily activities, sometimes asking for suggestions or advice, sometimes arguing about relevant and irrelevant things. Josh discovered how easy it was to laugh with her. She was funny and smart and very real. He liked her. One day, as they chatted about the weather, Josh casually mentioned that he would love to meet her again, properly this time around. She suddenly went quiet. "Mimah, you there?" he asked. There was a short pause before she nodded. Realizing he couldn't see her, she spoke. Yes, yes, I'm here. I thought I'd lost you there for a second," he cleared his truth. "So what do you say? I could come over to your city and you can show me your favorite spots. Then we can talk face to face." For reasons she couldn't explain, Mimah felt herself beginning to panic. Are you there?" She could hear the uncertainty in his voice. "Is something wrong?" "No," she said. "Do you not want to meet? Did I scare you off the first time?" he joked. "No." Mimah winced. Seemed like no was becoming her new favorite word. I, it actually sounds great." That did not sound convincing. She winced again. "Right." His voice sounded less warm. "Can I get back to you on that later?" "Sure, take your time." They eventually said their goodbyes and ended the call. They tried to chat a few times after that, but it always felt stilted and forced, so they eventually quit trying. Once, Josh sent her a message apologizing for suggesting that they meet and obviously making her uncomfortable. Mimah typed 3 different replies but ended up sending none. After that, they simply stopped communicating. Josh called himself all kinds of names. He felt foolish. He had been sure Mimah would snatch the opportunity to meet. He had been woefully wrong. He locked his car, turned and saw Jemima standing by his front door. His expression remained unchanged as he walked toward her. He stopped a few feet away and silently regarded her. "Hi," she said, smiling nervously. "You have really nice neighbors. 2 of them offered to let me sit and wait for you in their homes." He still didn't speak, and his expression remained unwelcoming. "I am so nervous. I don't think I would have been able to sit still for long. I decided pacing out here will have to do." "What do you want, Jemima?" Josh finally spoke. He folded his arms and waited for her to speak. Sighing deeply, she looked at him and said, "I am sorry for making things awkward between us." She took a small step towards him. "I panicked. The first guy I really liked was into my aunt. The truth is, she has more rights to you than I do because I kind of stole her identity. And what I want from you cannot be based on lies." And she dragged in another deep breath. "I don't want to be second best." His eyes narrowed slightly, but he remained silent. "I'm truly sorry, Josh. I just don't want to compete with my aunt." Finally, he stepped right in front of her and gave her a steady look. "What does your heart really want?" he asked. I'd like you to get to know me, and I would like to get to know you too, properly, without pretense." "You hurt me," he admitted quietly. "I know," she replied. She tightly closed her eyes for a second, then focused her gaze on him again. "Would you like to try again?" she asked in a small, uncertain voice. Josh smiled. Mimah tentatively smiled back at him. She watched him slowly lean towards her. She knew what he was about to do. He gave her plenty of time to decide if she would let him or not. Mimah stood exactly where she was, waiting. Then he kissed her. Her heart soared. It was all the answer she needed as she wrapped her arms around him and kissed him back. The end.